And so this is a fun one. Yeah, very, very good. So there's the moving van. There's the boys helping her move to a better position and bringing her into the library, which is a place of information. You know, when we were young before the internet, we used to go to the library sometimes and study and get information, etc. So there's the idea. And those people that are stepping up, okay, that first want the information that we're providing and presenting, and the library represents that, a place of so-called information and knowledge, and that's the first steps. And the cell phones realistically represent the person's mind, okay, because they're mechanical, it's technology. And yeah, within the mind worlds, you have bank accounts or whatever. But the real value is that these people are becoming more aware, you see. But it uses the idea of money. And it's like, oh, I have more money in my account. Really, what it is that they're gaining more awareness, you see. Now, something's very interesting here, and if you learn to see it, and you know, little by little we do, everything's simple. Look at the money sign, look at the dollar sign on your computer button or any dollar sign. It's an S with one. Usually they do two, but that's to fool you. Sometimes they'll do two lines, but usually it's one line through the middle. And so what does that tell you? It says is, is. You see, this was one of the symbols in the so-called ancient worlds of the is. But what the world controllers did is that they took it and used currency to control others, because that's what currency is about. And they used the same symbol and got people to believe that this symbol means money. You see, got them to be one-dimensional. And so the true reality, was gradually forgotten, just like Joni and Harold took over Paul's Eckankar. And it's just whatever it is, all reptilians today. And again, this is what happens in creation. It always does. And it's always okay, because it's all part of the learning to wake up, you see. And so at first, you know, people are questioning, they're talking to each other and say, wow, I've got more money in my account. How can this be? Well, it's because they don't, it takes a little while to recognize how they're becoming more aware, you see? And yes, this can also imply in the business world, but you see, that's the first thoughts of people, is that, oh, I have more money, I'm going to be getting more money. But you see, they haven't come to the point where they recognize the real value, because money supposedly has value, but actually it doesn't, because it's all made up. Okay, the only value it has is agreement. Is if you agree it has value, then it has value. If you don't agree, it has no value. Okay. In the United States during the Civil War, there was Confederate money printed from the southern states. Well, that money, those bills are no longer agreeable. So we have the so-called northern states money, which is the Federal Reserve stuff that started, in 1913, the Federal Reserve Act, etc. Should read that, it's very interesting. But anyhow, so it all, overall, it all points to the individual's awareness, because they've moved from their old place to a new position of seeing something new, you see, and the library represents that. And the real Duane coming down the steps is from the real universes, coming down to help the people here in this consciousness, because this is where it is all needed, etc. So it's all very simple, but each person can see it however they want. I'm not saying I'm right, okay? But there's always a bigger view, there's always something unseen, and that's the best part. The real freedom that people are looking for is to let go of everything and recognize what's real. There's your real freedom while still playing in creation like kids. You see, all of creation is fine because it can be reworked. But in the meantime, we have to deal with it. So that's part of our wake up too. It's like wake up. But it's when the stubborn will of the know-it-alls get together and say, oh, this one-dimensional slab of whatever consciousness that we've made, this is the real thing, and we got to figure it out. And we got to do battle, and we got to be right, and we got to all this stuff. Okay, fine, have fun. The end result is you got nothing. Because it's all about awareness. All life is awareness. It's not things that are made up or consciousness or wars or business or who knows what or ancient history. These are all things made up. See? But the know-it-alls, they like to get on stage and tell everybody what they know. And it's all about them. It's not helping the world. Do they talk about the environment? They talk about all the things they know. But do they talk about the environment that's being destroyed that supports them? I was talking with a religious fellow yesterday on the beach, and his thing is, well, Jesus is here, he's coming back, and the war in Israel, it's going to be taken over by the angels, and Jesus will be here and whatever. And I said, well, that's a really good story. I've talked to him several times, and I said, you have really good stories. Those are really good stories. And I told him, I said, I've heard many stories, and that's a good one. Yeah, it's like, okay, whatever. You know, this is his idea. Fine. But it has nothing to do with what all life is, because all life is awareness. So this is how the know-it-alls, get together and they converse with each other and they share what they know and they think they know something when it's all just made up. Yeah. It's a funny thing, isn't it? So it's a new day. We're not doing the old stuff anymore. And when people are really bored, they talk about their karma, don't they? And talking about karma is really boring. But some people think it's really cool. Yeah. I don't talk about karma. No, because again, I see the sun shining and you got to practice. You got to practice being the sun shining and being wonderful. And if you're going to say or think something, make it fun. Yeah, add a little humor, make it fun. Forget the old stuff, There's so much to do that's fun. Make it fun.